주신 매도정 이라올리지 산재신도 매대부 조근 남다신아 주보쇼 라라 강내야다야미
Is Buddha's activities pervasive and spontaneous? If the Buddha's activities are pervasive and spontaneous, why would we have to make request? Sangye ge tine the bemel hundrub industry chamber ina. Sangye ge tine beba mewa da lungi duba ina. Ani caption in the Yuna, any so that we gimze carriers, catching so that would as Sangye lecture.
Oh, yeah. Petro Meba Yena Young, Chile Juba Duju Quares.
Can I borrow a spare pen? Thank you. You have. That's me.
Petro Meba Singi Juba Yena Young, Chile Juba Gi Du Rangipa Casore, Jamachona. Chile Juga Maris, Tanam Lamang Namanamji, Jamduk Nagala, Sundi Kala, Sanjaki, Semjan Tamjala Bat, Chile Dang, Ninji, and the Casa Chori Mepa Tamjala, Champa Zeva Seat of Varedi, Rangi, Anipa, Jamajona, Sanjaki Chile Jutuga Mari.
So, in order for us to be the recipient of Buddha's spontaneous and uninterrupted pervasive activities, for us to be the recipient of this, then on our part, we have to have a sense of taking refuge, seeking refuge, going forth in refuge. Even though the Buddha's activities are spontaneous, uninterrupted, without any kind of discrimination amongst sentient beings, have that kind of omniscient mind, and as well as loving compassion and so forth, with which it beholds all sentient beings. Yet, on our part, for us to be the recipient of their divine activities, blessings of their divine activities, then we have to have a sense of taking refuge in them to receive their blessings of their activities.
Tabu dinzola, jagi putola, ani nimagi sadunda chargi, chala sawagi tobi niba yoare. 누가 교화래데 차부대기 라니 차원 동아당 안에 차리질량 발라서 지바 주디 잠바 아니 라니 가소래 차부들라 판주체 아니 주체 누가 이나 아니 차라 차리지 지발라 쪼고와 차 아니 님이 차동 지발라 쪼고 아래 마도 아니 가소래 차부달라 님뭐 차중에서 껴비 니바 이나야 라니 파 마지나 아니 차별 지바당 아니 렌지 지발라 껴면이 왔다 디나시레스.
Take the example of a cave. If this cave has the potential to protect you from the heat of the sun or from the wet of that rainfall, but even if that cave has all that potential, but as long as you don't enter into that cave to be protected from the heat of the sun or from that rain, then that cave for all its potential cannot protect you from the heat or the rain. It's just like that example.
Oh yeah, is 개백이 알롱당 투지 짝균이가 송도 저지 고고 아래스.
So there has to be the combination of the the ring of our own faith and the hook of the Buddha's compassion. The two of them together is what works to make effective the activities of the Buddha's activities for our benefit.
Oh yeah.
Bodhisattvas on the path of seeing no longer have no longer have birth, suchness, or aging. Aging sickness. Under the power of affliction. Under the power of affliction and karma. What about death? What about death? Chenju Samba Tanda Tolam Tobe Chenju Samba Chorwa. Kunansula the Kewa da Nawa da Gawe le Nyung Wongi da Dige Yomaris. The Kewada, Gawada, now the Mever Nation, the Chiwadi Mever in the West. Chiwad, your Meveres.
Then you're going to chew your maris, something to chew your res.
Bodhisattvas on the path of seeing do not have death under the power of afflictions and its action karma, but they do have the experience of death intentionally.
가상마저 땡대양라 중요되라 아니 녀몽길 저희 말을 박이 땡대양라 중요가 토면 말을 박을 끝내라지 아니 레산에 레기 녀몽티 샤왕도 손에 아니 겨월렌제 코에 겨월렌주 지당 양 찬주선바 삼신도 겨월렌주 지기 아니 니샤도 말이 파자기 사상 어때 말이 파자기 사상 사매기 레라 때네 아니 삼신도 겨와 삼신도 아니 가서로 가와서니까 나중에 견도 주와 아니 삼신도 아니야 겨와 제와 치와 어떤데 와래서
the 삼신 말이 파자기 사세
말이 파자기 사다 사매기 레라 때네 사바메 빌레
as explained before in the context of the 12 links, then you have the 12 cycle existence brought on by the 12 links. First by the first link of ignorance, that one generating the karma, and then due to the karma under the influence of the afflictions, and then as a result of that you have birth in samsaric existence. Then you have bodhisattvas birth in samsara intentionally, through intentional birth in samsaric existence. Due to on the basis of the grounds of Maripachagisa, on the grounds of the imprints of the Maripachagisa, on the grounds of the imprints of ignorance and what is known as uncontaminated karma. How does the ordinary body transform into a mental body in that life or after death? Do they gain a mental body at the path of seeing or on the 8th bhumi? Tanda chenju sampanam yigi ranshigi lu gyuya chik sumbra khasang. And kunanzo yigi lu du gyuya gi nekap chiyarwa. Kutsi dagarana di kutsi dagarana sina ta tolam tobe nekap susugre sa gebe nekap sa.
Sa gebe mare. Dirwa tolam tobe nagaso.
Tolam tobe nekap.
Jolam 소주기위 그 사이 타마디 조람 천족사들이 조람 천족바지 조남 치료줘 봐디 다 티제라 인지 가나 대방 모습도 통데 통남 토바당 셈지 말그 조람 그냥 그 셈지 되라 메와지 비셈지 시거래 메와지 비셈지 와 대기 메와지 비셈지 대 하삼 다 비셈지 공
So and the transformation transformation of the ordinary body into the mental body takes place in that very lifetime, and it doesn't have to be like on the 8th bhumi. The moment the bodhisattva directly perceives the truth, on the path of seeing, that transition is made from on the path of preparation. You have the supreme dharma. From that path of preparation, supreme dharma. Then when one makes that transition into the Mahayana path of seeing, of directly seeing the truth, that is when that transformation into the mental body takes place. The bodhisattva's prior bodhicitta, which is known as the bodhicitta of aspirations, then is also transformed at that when it transfers into the path of seeing. Then that bodhicitta also is transformed into the bodhicitta of the Lasamtape, the bodhicitta, which is the purity of the extraordinary supreme thought. So when one generates this bodhicitta of the purity of extraordinary supreme thought, then the previous body brought on by karma and delusions is then transformed into the mental body. So that's why when in praising bodhicitta in the guide to a bodhisattva's way of life, then it praises bodhicitta as that special formula that transforms all base metal into gold. The formula that transforms, and in the same way, this bodhicitta is that special feature that transforms that mind into the jewel-like, priceless mind of bodhicitta. And then the next one, bodhisattvas on the path of seeing no longer create karma. What causes rebirth? Can they create any other type of negative karma? Tholam thombe chenju semba namji the less tholam thombe chenju semba namji the less so marwa and le masa san khonzo kiwa sheya kane yungores. Do they create any other type of kunanzo mige we le shme in the kesana res
tal jida le la mambo shira yo res joa 편지 길에서 저 디사교 말에 저 대파파 컨디지 이나양 대방무슨도 통도 잡아 아니 편지 길에서가 살사요 왔네 남들 가서 대바 통나 편바 매심 미집 돕진 그 돕치와 동안 나신체니 대방무슨도 통도 잡아 아니 당진 말을 바기 여다 여와 레디 당신 말이 비꾸네라지 아니 레니고 방그 편집기 라사 써봐요 말이마도 레사봐요 아레스 나는 디그레스 아메기 레사 자주 생각이 겨울 레지기 레디 사체기 레마임바 사메기 레사들이.
So when we talk of karma, you have all types of karma. What you do not have, the type of karma that is not created by the bodhisattvas is the type of karma that propels you into samsaric existence, the throwing karma, as it is stated within the Pramana Vartika that once one sees the truth, the Aryas who see the truth then no longer create that kind of propelling karma. It's like the example of someone who is physically very strong, totally beating up someone that is very weak, it's like that. In the same way, even though for the bodhisattva, they may have grasping at the truth, that's in self-grasping, yet they do not, yet that self-grasping does not create does not create those kind of karma that propels you into samsaric rebirth. The only karma that they create are uncontaminated karma. What kind of bodies do sentient beings born in Sukhavati have? And the watching to Kebe Kenyege Simchin Yorwa, Nanso le Lu Candidoresa.
Oh, that the watching into the country is an Moram da Gereto Gitole, Chumi, Leda Nimongo Wanga Chuma, my imbal. Moram da Gereto Topji Chumi, and a Lucy.
So, sentient beings who are born in the pure lands like Sukhavati, then their bodies are born out of the roots of prayer and virtue alone. Their bodies are not the results of karma and delusions.
대화 젠도 지도 다신도 젠가도 대화 젠기 다신도 젠가도 아니 디네 시표데 남의 련유지 판비 풍보데 세도디 가나 달래 대화 젠도 말지 대화 젠기 제가 모람다 아니 개와 또 전부 쌓여 달래 아니 가소리 류탐 장생 바바 나신 그 삼신도 길을 안 받아 말해대 근데 말해대 모람다 개위 또 중에 아니 류치래 자고래
근데 저랬어 그래. 류타라키.
류타랑 우리 가소리 최수 말한도 나시 온 거로 봐. 두디 아니 련유가 그 중앙 많이 봐.
So in the case of the bodhisattvas who are, in the case of the sentient beings who are born in the pure lands, then after they have exhausted the body that has been brought on by karma and delusions, then they acquire a body in the pure land that is brought on by prayers and powerful virtue, and it's not it isn't exactly like the body that a bodhisattva who out of intentionally then takes rebirth. It's not exactly like that, but the causes for generating a body for a sentient being in the pure land, then the causes are completely prayers and very powerful roots of virtue that bring on that body. And the body is just like our body, just like our body, but having the appearance like our body, but the causes generating that body is completely prayer and powerful virtue. Is that rebirth considered one taken under the power of ignorance and karma? The Deochin de Kebe Luchorwa, lu di lenya di marikwa legi wong chuma zigirwa. So the rebirth of that body in the Pure Land is not under the control of karma and delusions. So the entire habitat of the Pure Land and the habitants of the Pure Land, including the individual born there, all has that resulting karma from prayers and powerful virtue. So it's all everything, the Pure Land, the entire Pure Land, and all the beings born there. They are results of prayers and powerful virtue. You cannot have an environment, the Pure Land, as a result of prayers and powerful virtue and the sentient beings in the beings born there to be in the nature of the truth of suffering. You cannot have like that.
Oh, yeah.
If it is a true path, is it necessarily if it is a true path, is it necessarily a wisdom of meditative equipoise directly realizing emptiness? Lamgi demba yena inchi minchi inde tonyungu sunsu tope nyamshagi yishi chingur esa. If it is a true path, it doesn't necessarily have to be a knower which directly realizes emptiness in equipoise. It doesn't necessarily have to be that, because there are many aspects to that true path.
Ane pangja nyamo betibata shiji tibala so pangja tedagi ngoji nyimbo chengengi ane lamji dembatela ane tonyung so to be shoko ari mado chida lamji demba sangade pabe gyuji lamkangala lamji demba sigade.
So whatever acts as a direct antidote on the two types of obscurations, the obscuration of knowledge and obscuration of afflictions, that has to be an exalted knower that directly realizes emptiness. Otherwise, for it to be a true path, it doesn't necessarily have to be that equipoise. For example, all the true paths generated in the mental continuum of an Arya being are all true paths, but not necessarily an equipoise directly realizing emptiness. Huh?
For example,
Pena chashana, pena chiksundasa.
Lamdele chasona, that pena chansum chanju semba papa yuji. 군조 셈지 인지 침보 내중 미다방무슨 도와 대시주로 미다바레 도와 강가 람데레.
For example, an Arya Bodhisattva's realization of the conventional truth, renunciation, realizing the sustained attributes of the Four Noble Truths, impermanence, conventional Buddhist, all of them are all true paths, but not necessarily an equipoise directly realizing emptiness. Bhagavatisha.
Ah, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. That jungi, Simsam Derada, Kasore, from the Tajin Shutara, that the Koran dealer, Dilamat, do that. Kase Dambatoba Lobdinji, Tibasumna, Chesumla, Mewasumji, Anchana, Jesuna Bashaba Yin said, that turned out to the Zamba, Sanje Kijin Girijan Namji, Dajak Tatu Tela, Mujo Sumga Yoare, 군조 숨과 여와를 디 가소래 타두기 군조 숨과 창고 여와를 이나양다 산제 군조 군조성과 최고 군조 군도 군조 타두기 잡자라 숨과 여와를 이나양 산제 군조 뒤니 대자 타두기 집이 최단 군디니오데 산제 군조도 뒤니 산제 군조데 아니 티바치비를 제남지 아니 잡수나 봐샤야
So it says, there being the teacher, his teaching, and his disciples leads to respective aspirations towards three vehicles. For those who are of the Mahayana lineage or Mahayana type, then their resultant refuge is the rare and sublime three. For their ultimate refuge, then it has to be all of these three objects of refuge: Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. So, within the rare and sublime Buddha refuge, then is subsumed the Buddha refuge subsumes both the Dharma and Sangha refuge as their ultimate resultant refuge.
인자 제제지를 젠텔라 군조 숨보 대달라 아니 대접도 체네 랑랑기 오늘 특징기를 젠게랑게 톱지 산제 군조대 안에 다 가려서 그래서나 접수나 봐샤야.
So for those of the Mahayana lineage, then their resultant refuge are the rare and sublime three. What is to be attained is the rare and sublime Buddha, which is their refuge.
어제 근데 최군조대 안에 톱지 대자 타도도 친구인데 아니 랑자지를 젠남지 아니 최군조대 랑자지를 젠지 접수나 봐샤봐. 랑줄라 톱지 친구 최군조 톱지.
So the rare and sublime Dharma is the resultant refuge to be attained by those who are of the solitary realizers lineage, the Pratyeka lineage.
가래에서나 최군주 댄데 삼미 태도배 아니 코유 동아 세바 랑줄라 톱지 제부 턴도 년간데 랑자를 젠체 아니 랑자지를 젠 대양 아니 톱지 제부 아니 가소래 랑산제의 창주대 스바탐미스 다시 시와 나신 전에 로빈 현지 당하라 마대바 아니 랑그 창주 온도 제바 인장 아니 랑그 톱지 아니 그 최군조대 랑자라나 봐샤가니 르제 숨근 랑자라나 봐샤바.
So why is this so that that the rare and sublime Dharma is the resultant refuge to be attained by those of the Pratyeka lineage is because those of that lineage then seek to realize the Dharma, attain the Dharma, rare and sublime Dharma by generating realization of the profound meaning of interdependent origination. And by understanding the meaning of dependent arising, then seek to exhaust the sufferings of samsaric existence. So this is the path, focus of the path of those who are of the Pratyeka lineage. And so that is how those of this lineage, Pratyeka lineage, then seek to attain the result of the Pratyeka Buddhahood by not relying upon the instructions, relying upon the instructions of another teacher. On their own, then they try to actualize the Pratyeka Buddhahood.
That lobe nyando papagi ane siba tamiji ane lobe shenji ane dangala döne ane dajobo koba onto chaba imbare inshi kenji gerwa lobe shenji dangala döne ane rangi siba tamiji lobe shenji dangala döne rangi chanju onto chaba inzang tupji dewu nyando ki chanju onto chaba inzang ane so kundu kunjode ane nyando la namba shaba.
And as for those who are of the the heroes lineage, the Shravaka lineage, then they in their final life, in samsara, then they necessarily rely upon. It is a necessity to rely upon the instructions of another teacher to attain their state of arhat. And that is how they actualize the result of their Shravaka Buddhahood, by relying upon the instructions of another teacher. So the rare and sublime Sangha is the resultant refuge to be attained by those of the heroes lineage or the Shravaka lineage.
다 현지라 trusimbi 아니 덤바당 아니 덤바 초구조당 아니 군두구조 아니 다좀바당 아니 자치 찬주선바라 소외 파베디비 아니 trusim지 구조선 못해 아니 투바순비 가서래 이 가사 순보디 그 규잡 라와 규잡서 또 받쳐와
So the teacher, meaning the Buddhahood, the teachings, meaning the rare and sublime Dharma, and the rare and sublime Sangha, the Arhat, the Bodhisattvas. These three states of these three rare and sublime refuge that has been already attained. That has already been attained by others, accomplished in the mind stream of others, then this is the causal refuge for the beings of all the three types of vehicle. Individuals, beings of all of the three types of vehicle, then reflect on the Buddha-Dhamma and Sangha, rare and sublime Buddha-Dhamma and Sangha that has been attained by others as a causal refuge for them.
다 뒤에 안에 가서래 뒤봤음라 채숨라 세대 안에 남도 휴바 남지 안에 가서래 신주라 주신 그 군조선 못해라나 제대라당 안에 그 톱지 군조선 못해라 아니 차차와도 쳐발라 써와 그 차와 쳐봐 람도 마슈와 남지장 아니 란자 람도 마슈바기 아니 특바침보다 란자 기르자다 년도 기르자 남지장 아니 차당 쳐바당 연구와라 소비 차와 쳐바 임배나 다 대체 특바숨다 채숨라 세야돼 채바숨보다 디임바래
So there being the teacher, his teachings and his disciples leads to respective aspirations towards the three vehicles and to three different activities of veneration, meaning the Buddha Dhamma and Sangha that has been attained by others are the causal refuge for individuals of the three vehicles, as well as the Buddha Dhamma and Sangha that is to be attained by oneself, the resultant refuge that is to be attained by oneself. To both of these, then those who are on the path, those who have entered into the path, those who have not entered in the path. All the three types of beings of the Mahayana lineage, the Shravaka lineage, the Pratyeka lineage, all then make our prostration, generate activity, generate the three different activities, meaning activities of, prostrations, offerings, and so forth, to the causal refuge accomplished by others, to the resultant refuge that is to be attained by oneself, is venerated through activities of prostrations and offerings by all the beings of the three types of lineage, those who have entered the path and those who have not entered the path.
ane topi tendo tembi enda topi tendo ane sanje ju ngor sanje ju khombande rangi la thoja tendo nyawa shubi ane chaju semba asaro chaju sembi tijenji rijenji khasata rijen sunga gi ane sanje la chodo chawa cheba sigala tu tijenji rijen tegi ane sanje kunjo ja rang tuji dewu tendo nyawa cheba rijen sunga gi ani nyandu rijen da sanje tiji rijen sunga gi khasa gi ani sanje la nyandu da rijen ni raja ni wote ne ka sanje yu khomba de töndu menye jang anje sanje la choto chawa cheba dang chawa nyandu gi rijen lamdu shiwam je sanje la choto chawa cheba dang tiba chimbodan rijen lamdu mashuba namji jang lamdu mashu jang ani tanda shuwa naji sanje la chadang cheba la sowa chodo chawa cheba mewa namji wandu chene ani sanje kunju jebjina ba shaba sanje kunju jebjina ba.
So to clarify the qualities of the Buddhahood, the rare and sublime Buddhahood that is to be attained by bodhisattvas on the who are of the Mahayana lineage, by those who are of the Mahayana lineage, and and all the beings of the three types of lineage then engage in the activities of veneration in the ways of prostrations and offerings or so forth. Even those of the Shravaka and Pratyeka lineage, even though they temporarily do not recognize the Buddha as the ultimate object of attainment, temporarily do not recognize it as such, but they still engage in the activities of veneration, of offerings and prostrations and so forth. So all the beings of the three types of the lineage, whether they have entered into the path or yet to enter into the path, then engage in the activities of veneration through prostrations and offerings and so forth.
Dumbi Tamba said, and Lundo Tamba Nigi Binana, Captain Tamba de Tobi Tamba Tambi Shi, Lamji, Lam Gualam Gudi, and then. Only Kunjoku and then Tendravi, and it Chokunjo Tundu, and a Kasarani, and it Dende Samo, that the Karas and Dendu, Dende Samo, Sovagala, Dende Lujundang, Lundo. Dende Lujundang, Lundo Sena Kadesere, Sergana, and Lunjung Sena, and a quality Rimba, Maribadela Duce la Tene, and Namshi la Tene, and Misuji Pumbu Triag, Dende Lujun, and Jaganashima, Dende Junyala Triadic Lula Junga. Lenji Wangi Kiwi, Koi Dunga de Pumbo de Medena, Dunga Medena, and Dunga Ju Doko. Dunga Ju Kawatogare, Sana, Mariba Tobe, and Dendri Kasore, Le Sabato, Barkinam, Leji Pachaku, Namshi Dendri To. Tene, and Misu Dendri to the Jiwatoba Yinzang, O Dendri Lujundang, Lundo Dang, O Tendri, and it Dendri Jawat Chuma. Ani Mariba Toba de, and Maribitin, Shayume Toba Tova in bed. And then the tribute Tadan Trawa, Jesu Tone, and you call you to one yawa shiwi. 아니 시완양데 아란지라 토비 제수 수사 중간에 소리에서다 최군주 아르카소레 남바샤사디 란자라 다지나신 전에
So
란자지 TV 가사
the teachings which consists of the the scriptural teachings and the realizations, the experiential teachings, realizations. Then of these two, then we are talking about teachings in the context of insight, realizations, experience, and so reflecting the qualities of cessation. So to actualize the rare and sublime Dharma, then and the qualities of that Dharma, then it is contingent upon generating the profound realizations of dependent arising in the forward process of how cyclic existence comes about. First through ignorance, then generating the karma, the karmic actions. And then the imprints of those karmic actions that are borne by our consciousness. And so, as a result of that, then you have, the link of name and form. And as a result of the link of name, you have birth, aging, sickness, death, so forth. The forward process of the dependent rising. Then also you reflect on the reversal process of this 12 links. That if one does not wish for these suffering aggregates, samsaric rebirth brought on by karma and delusions, then one has to reverse suffering. In order to reverse suffering, then one has to reverse ignorance. Once one has reversed ignorance, then one no longer creates the karma. The karma gets reversed. When the karma gets reversed, then one doesn't have a the consciousness bearing the imprints of karma is reversed. And then with this being reversed, then one no longer has the link of, one reverses the link of name and form, and that in turn reverses birth, aging, sickness, death, so forth. So in this way, then when through the understanding of the interdependent origination, then when one through the reversal or the cessation of this ignorance, then what is attained is the total pacification of the suffering of samsaric existence, and the peace of nirvana is attained. The liberation's peace is attained. So this rare and sublime Dharma is the resultant refuge, or the object of attainment of those of the Pratyeka lineage.
Oh, that is tajinte dewi jache. Tatini ranja lamdu mashuba namji, lamdu shuba, lamdu mashuba namji. Ani chekujala kuti chebada. Ra gyu jabla sawa chodo chewa cheba mewa namji ondo chene. Ani ranjala chekuja nambashaba chen.
So, likewise, in the case of those of the Pratyeka lineage who have yet to enter into the path, but still, does all the activities of making offerings and service to the causal refuge, the Buddham and Sangha.
Oh yeah, that teacher, ani kasore, dembi dembala lebar shivi loma, ani nyende drajumbe, loma drajumbe yenden dene. Ani yenden de tobi tendo, ani shen la tu, ani loben shenji danga la dene, shen le tubi de jesu jina, loben shenji danga la dene, ani rangju ji drajumbe dewu, ani tobja chebi de, ani tobi chiri, shubi chiri. 아니 휴비 냐디오기를 제체
And then, in seeing others who are well engaged in the teachings of the teacher, the Buddha, and when in seeing their qualities, then the qualities of our arhatship in the four destroyed state, in seeing those qualities, then one generates the wish to attain those qualities for oneself as well, and thereby relies upon the instructions of others to enable oneself to attain the result of the four destroyed state, to attain the resultant state of an arhat, and thereby engaging in a path engaging in the path to actualize that result of the four destroyed state, then that is the path of those who are of the hero's lineage.
我觉得日前送给出生就工作的给家长就是七八堂，但那么多马修吧，那就怕被军队了，因告诉怕被那么多马修讲，俺怕被军队了，因过的，俺那么多被戳死，真把说戳的七八，俺没完那么的告诉的，说那么说被心给往多钱呢，俺军队工作的年头来就是哪把想法都是嘛。
So for those of the hero's lineage, then, like the others who are of the three types of lineage, then consider the rare and sublime Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha accomplished by others as a causal refuge, and undertake the acts of veneration to accumulate merit. Even those who are of the Shravaka lineage, who have yet to enter into the path, then give recognition to the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha accomplished by others, and to the other arhats and bodhisattvas who have attained those qualities, then in order regard them as give them recognition as causal forms of refuge, and engage in the activities of veneration and so forth, acts of accumulation of merit in order to actualize the resultant state of that Sangha refuge.
Oh, and then that you tell that 아니 산재 군조라 접수 조비 가다 강이 남지 초산재 좀 된다나 접수 치고 세 최군조라 접수 치고서 대사단 차와차 남지 초 최라 접수 치고 세 아니 군들라 접수 치고 세가나 초 남지 초 파바 군들나라 접수 치고 세야돼 굉장히 다 된다 되고 와도 되네.
So it is for this reason we say that that I take refuge in the Buddha who is supreme in amongst the two-legged bipeds. I take refuge in the Buddha, and I take refuge in the Dhamma who is supreme in the context of being free from attachment, and then I take refuge in that. I take refuge in the Sangha, who is supreme in amongst all the assemblies. So, these are the reasons as to why and how one takes refuge in the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha. Buddha as being the most supreme in amongst the bipeds, the Dhamma, most supreme in the context of being free from attachment, and the Sangha in the most supreme in amongst all gatherings or assemblies.
Oh yeah, that degi teche, that just ji na ba shaba de, ane the teaching ba che, the ba tuba sunda me wasum jo ba just na ba shaba yin si se.
So this is just the general explanation of the three refuge, there being the teacher, his teaching, and his disciples, leads to respective aspirations towards three vehicles and to three different activities of veneration. Viewing this, the refuge is shown as threefold.
Oh yeah, that teacher la, kunzo vi jab dan tuan dan vi jab ki namza shaba se di tuan dan liang guan bari.
So the next is the explanation of the conventional refuge and the ultimate refuge. Also, so you can say, provisional refuge and ultimate refuge, conventional refuge and absolute refuge.
That is about the Banji Louis Church, Meiji Jidan Jewish, Chernam Nida Pabeto, Denji Jabzo Mayino, sit at the Zawadi Bari.
The Dharma will be abandoned and is of an unsteady nature. It is not the ultimate quality, and the Sangha is still with fear. Thus, the two aspects of Dharma and the assembly of noble ones do not represent the supreme refuge, which is constant and stable.
Oh, yeah. That is because Banji Louis Church, say, Banchi, say, Gala Karasugo, is enough. Chela Lundo Cheni Yawacha. Chela Lundo Chukunzo, turned up Chukunjo Nis and Yetan Nashi and Chela Lundo Cheni Benane, Lungu Che Menti Yigisum Chidivi, Ani Danji Chivarava. That Duji Divi, and the Minji Yigisum Chidivi, Danjeti. Duji Divi. Gugu Divi, Menzi Yigisum Divi, Danjete, Ani Gasore, Taduk Jamai, Ranjila, Toja Tadu, Danji Jamare, Sigare.
So, the Dharma to be abandoned, and to be abandoned. The Dharma constitutes of the scriptures, scriptural Dharma, and then or the scriptural Dharma of explanations and so forth, teachings and so forth. And then you have the experiential teachings. As before then, Dharma, you have, conventional Dharma and ultimate Dharma. So, all those Dharmas that are considered teachings, explanations, the scriptures, all the Dharma which is subsumed within So all the commentaries or explanations of the Dharma which is subsumed within the mental continuum of a disciple. So that is not an ultimate. It's not an ultimate refuge to be attained.
Why is
that so? That all the teachings or explanations or commentaries subsumed within the mental continuum of a disciple. Why is that not an ultimate refuge? This is because it is to be abandoned.
아니 가설에 전단 대방 모습도 또신 타두기 아니 토지 대부 토바나 아니 생다라니 그 대부 토비 탑수 미거와 방시 토와차와 임시했어. 와 전단 대방 모습도 또신 아니 타두기 토지 대부 토바 티체나 아니 생다를 아니 가서에 타두기 대우지 토비 탑수 미거와 방아차와 임시.
why is it to be abandoned is because when one realizes the ultimate truth in the context of the attainment of the ultimate result, then all of those dharmas of words and teachings or explanations, recitations, all of that is to be abandoned.
인자들아 도시의 규지 민지 이거 되위 아니 가르사나 롱기 아니 단지샤고는 마도 질 안에 산재가 산재가 민지 이거 심지 되위 단지와 이상 되서 생다 방아쳐 이제 말해
So
디나라 되게 제발 맞춰봐 민지 이거 심지 되위 단지 송샤
So it is important to make the case that all those transmissions of teachings and so forth, that which is subsumed within the continuum of a disciple, is to be abandoned. But it should not include the teachings on the grounds of Buddhahood. The words of the Buddha in the state of Buddha, those you cannot say are to be abandoned.
인자데 라니지 대위 짬마이 비튼 인지 상제톰네 숭구 초 거미 비튼 민호시 자 인자 숭구 초 거미 비튼 말에 스타탄다디 로와 두지 샤나 야셔티아레 자
Rangi Devi this is to state that these teachings or these transmissions subsumed within the continuum of a trainee is not a resultant refuge for the individual. Rangi Devi kyab mai thanda niwa chiksons Rangi Devi kyab mares
kyam tenre mado sanje tomne ane sanje kusungwa maybe mares.
But it does not reflect that upon attaining Buddhahood that the words of the Buddha are no longer necessary. It doesn't mean that. So what is mostly pointing out that this is not your ultimate refuge, resultant refuge. It is in no way saying that the words of the Buddha are no longer necessary in the state of Buddhahood. It's not saying that. So
방지 루비 최전 칠세대 달로와 로바 규지 아니 남대 양의 전대들나 자주선비 투지지電動 저장 모습도 더 이시 송샤 와 자주선비 규지 투지지電動 저장 모습도 더 이시 sana 돈용 모습도 더 이시 대 타도 그 말에서양 와 랑지라 토바체베 타도 그 말에서
So that is what is meant by the Dhamma will be abandoned and is of an unsteady nature. So the unsteady nature, what it is talking about is all the true paths generated within the mental continuum of a trainee. Those are of unsteady nature. So an example would be a bodhisattva's exalted knower directly realizing the emptiness of the elaborations of true existence. In other words, then an exalted knower directly realizing emptiness in the continuum of a bodhisattva. This exalted knower directly realizing emptiness is not an ultimate refuge.
Oh yeah, that is
why is this exalted knower directly realizing emptiness? directly realizing the emptiness of the elaborations of the true existence. Why is this not an ultimate refuge for the for the bodhisattva, for the individual? Is because it is to be abandoned and unsteady. Unsteady, lue means or fallible, unsteady nature.
No, Rani Chima Tati Junzela, Rani Chima Tataki Taba Mejang, Luigi Chanson Papa Molu Yuji Lamdendi, Chima Tataki Taba Mejang, Rangung Ola Chima Tataki Emba Nawatang. Rani Chime Leba Tata Tower Mejans. Leba Tava Tata Tower Mejang, Rangung Ola Chime Leba Meba Nami, Dribam, Luchere. Dribam.
Rani Chima Tata.
Rani Chima Tata Taba Mejang.
Mekya.
Ranginango and Chima Tata Taba Nawa.
Why is it unsteady in nature? Is because for this bodhisattva on the path of training, on such for such a bodhisattva on such a true path of training, even though the individual bodhisattva has not gained the purity from all defilements, yet it appears to the bodhisattva as if it is purified of all defilements. So when we talk about that it is of an unsteady nature, meaning in that kind of context.
Rani any Chimi Leba Tata Chawa, Chime Leba Tata Chawa, Menayang, Rangung Ola, Chime Leba Meba Nami, Rangung Ola, Chime Leba Meba Nami, and then Dribadi Louis Cheng. This exalted knower directly realizing emptiness. The exalted knower realizing emptiness, even though it is not free of the defilements, even though it is not completely free of the defilements, to this exalted knower realizing emptiness, it appears as if it is free of all defilements. So, it is fallible because it is fallible or unsteady in nature because it is obscured in this kind of way. Oh yeah. What is this word? That is Jurangosum to be Yishiti and a castle Maribada tea, Chimatadak Malabarete, Malaba. Only Rani Chimeleba. Chime Leba Tata Tower Revasana, Chime Leba Tata Tower Maimba. Only Chanson Paben Gula, Chime Lebagi, and Lamdem Yuari. Don't you Musum to Toby Yishi Kora, Chime Maleba, Maribada Tipaja Kangia Maleba.
So, what is to be clarified here is that. In the case of an Arya Bodhisattva, then, their mental continuum is not completely free from the contamination of the defilements, not completely free from these Arya Bodhisattvas, they have generated true path within their mental continuum. Yet those true paths generated within their mental continuum is not completely free from the contamination of defilements. But their exalted wisdom, directly realizing emptiness, that has to be free from the contamination of ignorance. Tony Ngosum the top Yishitilla, Marikpe Labatan.
Maribata Tipachaki Kangia Marabare.
That not only free from the contamination of the defilement of ignorance, but even the imprints of that ignorance. That exalted wisdom directly realizing emptiness.
가르에서나 마리바다 티 바자 관계야 말아봐래데 텐더비 돈이 무슨 도비 예시디 마리바다 티 바자 가롱기 려바다 차와래서나 타다 려바 타다다 차와래서나 대마레스 거야.
So even though this exalted knower directly realizing emptiness is free from the contamination, is free from the contamination of the defilement of ignorance and its imprints. But if it is completely free from the contamination of ignorance and defilements, that it is not.
타다다 차와 매장 랑용 오라 치매 려바나미 좀 루비 최전 인장 안에 타도 좀 말해.
컨테스 타마디 안 좋지나다. 랑용
오라 치매 려바 매바 들어와 매장 랑용 오라 치매 려바 매바 나미 집이 좀 치루
Now yes. Even though its nature is free, its nature is free from the contamination of defilements. Yet, yet it is obscured. Yet it is obscured in its. It is obscured because to this mind it appears as if it is completely free from all defilements. It has the appearance, it feels the appearance of being completely free from defilements. So therefore, it is not it's not an ultimate refuge. Even though its nature is such that it is free from the contamination of defilements, but to the individual bodhisattva, it appears as if it is completely free from the contamination of all defilements. So in that way, it is fallible or obscured, and so therefore it is not an ultimate refuge. So generally speaking, when we talk about something being fallible, here in this text it says unsteady in nature is when appearance and the mode of the manner in which it appears and the way in which it exists are not cordant, right?
아니 돈이 집어 담바래 인도 밀루아래 담밤 밀루위 로초데 아니 미담밤 좀바라 주고야 말해.
So what is true, what is infallible is only liberation, meaning only emptiness. Only emptiness is what is infallible and what is true. Other than that, then everything is fallible and false. So therefore then you would have to say something that which is fallible means it is false.
아니 가래 된동 좀발라 좀 루이칠 인상 아니 뒤제 있는 텐다 비자마인 배차와 되신 균전 대니지 상제 그 투지 그 남된 텐다 비자마인 바당 그 뒤제 인상 아니 루와 인상 아니 텐다 대 텐다 비자마레 대시도 상제지 수군이장 텐다 비자마인 바 그와 텐다 디스 다 가지고 그들이 순동도
So, you know, there's an opponent's assertion that that which is empty of the truth, empty of truth, empty of truth, is false and therefore fallible, and so therefore everything that which is composite, you know, is not an ultimate refuge. And for this reason, then the true path of the Buddha is a composite phenomenon, and so therefore it is fallible and false. In the same way, then the Buddha's Rupakaya, the form body, is therefore not an absolute refuge.
랑고오라 치멜라바 매장 아니 레바 메바 나미 드비 체진지 의 체진 랑고오 트마타다다 마자장 트마타다다 세바르 나미 드바드 의 체진 임체스 도스고고인 말
So therefore you know, just being empty of true existence, if that alone means it is you know, it is false or fallible, and therefore, you know, even the Rupakaya of the Buddha is not an ultimate refuge, that the true path of a Buddha is also fallible. You know, if one asserts that, you know, something that which is empty of truth is what is meant by fallible, then you incur all of these, you know, mistakes. So, therefore, when we how this unsteady nature or how this being fallible is to be understood is that, you know, although in its nature, you know, as previously explained, then, although that exalted knower in its nature is free, it's free from, you know, the contamination of defilements, you know, to have the appearance of being completely free from the contamination of defilements, that obscuration is what makes it fallible. This is how the unsteady nature or the fallible is to be understood.
Oh yeah.
Not just in like how it is said, presented by the opponent, that which is empty of the truth is what is you know, fallible and what is false. You know, what is fallible, how it should be understood is that when one is obscured in the appearance of thinking that one is completely free from all of the contamination of defilements. In that context, you are fallible. In that context, one is unsteady in nature.
Oh yeah, today is Gabdi Lua said that Lua the Milua said that she was not Dembeton, Dembala Milua down, Zumbala Lua Seneca. Injan Dijak Chotamja Lua Ings are it. Dijak Chotamja Lua Ings. In the Ani Milua Sana Karaguare Sana Damba, Samatomba Yungware, Miluvada. Yungware Deza, Led and Devi Namsha, Landage Namsha, Milua Marivesana, Landage Namsha, Milua. Ruas Milua Mari Milu Dang, Milu Jang, Milua Mai Sachao, what it means. Let and David Nasha. Let and David, do Gawachavala, Dew, Devatan, do Mikawa Chavala, Dew, Duma Juma in the Landem Milu. Landem Milu Jang, Landem Milua Mais.
Okay. So when we talk about fallible and infallible, then in the context of true and false, everything that which is composite, then they are all, fallible phenomena. So that which is infallible has to be something that which is true, meaning profound emptiness is that which is infallible. But if you take, for example, cause and effect, that through virtue result happiness happens, through non-virtue the result suffering happens. Even though it is infallible, karma is infallible, but it is not infallible. So you take it however you want. You are served. It says cause and effect, even though it is not infallible, yet it is not infallible. It is not. It is not infallible. Even though karma is infallible, but karma is not infallible. So it would be what? If you say double, it means yes, no?
First one is it's not, even though it is not fallible.
Miluwa, lende milukya. Generally, it is not infallible. But it is not infallible.
Miluba said the Karare Sena, Miluba said Yangan Dewa Denchipu, Segana, Miluba de la Caresana, Tandan de Mama de Yamares, Yangan Dewa Denchipu.
So, for something to be infallible, then it has to be an ultimate truth. So therefore we say liberation is the only truth.
Chipu Dengis, Yangalan Deva Tandan Demba, Chipu de Demba Res, Tigi Lojo, Midemba Zimbitent Lua La Sumbe, Serara, and Midemba Zimbitent Lua Res.
So when we say that liberation alone is the only thing, liberation alone, that ultimate truth is the only thing that which is not infallible. So everything that which is the opposite of it are false, not true.
Isa Midemba Zimbit Lua La Sumbe says Zumba Sena. And then Candidate Suare Sena, Zumba Singer, the candidate at Nana meeting be church, Zumba Singer.
So when we say that which is false, not true, is all fallible. And what is fallible is false. And what is false is when appearance and the mode of the manner in the way it appears and the way in which it actually exists is discordant. So therefore we say, cause and effect. Karma is a phenomenon in which appearance and the way in which it exists are discordant, and so therefore it would have to be false and not true, and so therefore it is fallible.
This one. No,
and not infallible, not infallible. Yeah, Miluva Mari is not something which is infallible. It's not something that which is infallible.
No, that is it. 帮助论语缺陷性，没事就当介于没事在的，你看着我当，没事在的看着我们的了，的了看送多，长久生把啪啪当，他们蓝的，他们也蓝的说，你干嘛用吧？干嘛用的？他们也蓝的说，你干嘛用吧？ Timenji lamde je chansa papi lamde dang, and Timenji lamde so jamayin pati simbari.
Kadirumche. Thus the two aspects of the Dharma and the assembly of noble ones do not represent.
Dila de chana titula. Dila de mechiri se de temajawa che. Lame nyande. Lame nyande. Nyande drajon bejiji lame nyande. 是吧？人家这准备去他们娘的是呢，都给你我媳妇你洗，是吧？都人家这准备的啦，这准他妈他对，他这样的是他这把是个人，是吧？这就他妈他对，是吧？人家这准备的啦，
So I think we're doing these. Two lines, the other two. Mari, it's not the ultimate quality, and the Sangha is still with fear. This, I think we're going through this. We say that, the Arya Bodhisattvas and, okay. The Shravaka Arhants, when they first attain the state of Arhanship, then is a liberation with remainder first.
대체는 제바요 말이다. 간제 농아지 풍보 상마다 제와 엄마기 래니 그 방비 풍보 되기 계지기 주 녀몬 탐제 빵. 그봐. 녀몬 탐제 빵. 녀몬반 다저부터 엄마 래니 그 방비 풍보 돼 단달 안 줄여 와체. 다좀 또 엄마 래니 그 방비 풍보 연관되라 다 학제.
So why is it a nirvana with remainder for this Shravaka who first attains the state of an Arhat? Is because it still has the suffering aggregates, which are the results of its previous karma. Although in the present state, then it has totally abandoned all afflictions. Yet this Arhat still has these aggregates which are the results of the previous karma, and so it's regarded as a nirvana with remainder.
Because
it has the remainder of the suffering aggregates.
구제 도제 땅데 라 아니 답이 신도 빼면 부수 이지 라신지 류렘바기 라좀바데 다 동아지 풍부 상마데다 차데 동아지 풍부 상마데 빵바 인자 매와 인장 콜라 하면야데 스거래.
And when this arhat passes away and gets reborn in a pure land within a lotus, then has this mental body. Then we say, this arhat has attained a liberation without remainder, because it is completely removed of the previous aggregates. Which is with suffering.
tenderita, tender Hamen and the bar said it. Dugin your Shiva. Rajumbala Dugin your Dunga, Quinjung Bangyang, Dunga Mabamba Yoa Yinzang. That Hame body Duginiga Yoa Shiva Yinzang, tender your Casa de Gila, Dugin your Stunga, Quinjuniga Pambi Quatan Yore.
So, such an arhat has a nirvana without remainder, meaning it has abandoned true suffering as well as true origin. It has the cessation of the abandonment of true suffering and true origin. Whereas in the case of the arhat having attained liberation with remainder, then in the case of that one, it has the abandonment of the true origin, but it has yet to totally get rid of the true suffering because of the aggregates. So this liberation, this nirvana, which is the total pacification of true origin and true suffering, this cessation, which is the complete pacification of true origin and true suffering, is not a kalimaris. It's not an ultimate refuge.
Taduki Mayin body, Kandere Sena, Nyamonda Dunga, Mebatam Jirab the Chavare, Nyamonda, Nyamobata Dunga, Tam, Rab the Chavasana, Tam.
Why is it not an ultimate refuge? Why is this cessation of the complete pacification of true origin and true suffering not an ultimate refuge? It's because it is just a mere, total pacification of only suffering and afflictions. So, because it's just merely gotten rid of suffering, it still has yet to get rid of the knowledge obscurations, the obscuration to omniscience. So it still has the fear of this obscuration, fear of the obscuration of knowledge.
Oh yeah, tende chegala da tende digi hamen yande singa de pajing nara suwa na xin cheni tuda goma ki lacha hame ku tön da tende ranji bata hoina dunga ji phumba hama da chebi yande tela lacha na de dunga ji phumba hama mebi yande tela hamen yande cheni tu sha gware
tuda khome suwa marwa
ranji bak.
So this idea of nirvana with remainder, because you still have the old aggregates, previous aggregates, and nirvana without remainder, because you no longer have the previous aggregates of the previous karma. This kind of nirvana with remainder and without remainder is not something designated from the prasangika viewpoint at all. Something the Swatantra Madhyamika onwards, then they differentiate like this.
That dila jodam hambo yo ayembare. Nyanden dewa tang lungi jenran kisendam batinzo ina phumbo da jewa tang. Phumbo da jewi nyande dela lacha nyande. Phumbo da ma jewi nyande dela lame nyande saji. Nyanden dewa ta lungi jenran kisendam batin.
lungi chetanda
lungi chendang ki semzamba yuarwa tedan nyande dewaki cheramawa dinjoki phumbo da jevi pamba tela laja nyande che phumbo mebi nyande tela lame nyande
semzamba da sunye dodeva
lungi chendang ki semzamba so
Chittamatrans who follow scriptures and the Vaibhashikans, Saltantrikans, then they present they present nirvana with remainder as as having still the old aggregates, and when one no longer has the aggregates, then it's a nirvana without remainder.
Ta tanda ranju badang ani tanda samzamba jidang samzam tanda tina shisha dunga jibu nama da jawa da ma chabe.
And so the Swatantrican Madhyamikans and the Chittamatrans following reasoning, then they don't say with aggregates, those with the suffering, remaining suffering aggregates. That's how they say. Those dungenga phumbo, those with the remaining suffering aggregates and without the remaining suffering aggregates is how they say.
Ida sakja nyande ngela thomne tijela lamanya de kujitu tangdi lamanya de toguwa ida sakja nyande ngela tone lamanya de jela togware.
And so therefore then you attained the nirvana with remainder first, and then after you pass away then you attain the nirvana without remainder.
다 좀다 고마 탄주바 코랑기 송디 잠바 간데송고레서나 하자 하면서가 동하게 품보라 맞아와체 대난기 하마다 자와 된루구나에 하마다 자와들라 하자냐데 된루구나와 당 마제비냐데라 하메기냐데 스거래.
So from the Prasangika standpoint, there is no liberation with remainder or without remainder associating with suffering, in association with suffering aggregates. Nirvana with remainder is when you still have the appearance of true existence, and nirvana without remainder as when you are without the appearance of true existence. So from a Prasangika standpoint, then it has no association with suffering aggregates.
이제 된루나의 롱원주와 다 제비냥데텔라 하자냥데스 된루나의 롱원주와 다 마제비냥데텔라 하메냥데스.
So as long as you have a mind's as long as you have an awareness which still has the direct appearance of true existence, then it is a liberation with remainder. As long as you no longer have an awareness which has the direct appearance of true existence, then it is a liberation without remainder.
아니 년주 밤비 남로람 톱디 잡아 년대 자정부 콤바도 토고하래 인단 자정부 토마토 톱이 남로람데 돈이를 제주도 냠바셔베 냠샤이시리 그러와 제가 된주고 나와요 아마리 아 디기라 토마타베 가사디 길라 된주고 나와 된주고 나와게 롱원주와 자와니 말이 매인자 쿠주지 냥데데 하메냐데 체 되는 냠샤라 당디 제도도 상대 잠바 아니 된루도 나요 롱원지 주디 가라 아니 냥데데 사제냐데 인상 탄주르라 하메냐데 나라 톱 사제냐데 제라 톱
So, in the in the case of Shravaka's attainment of the state of an arhat, and you generate the antidote, or you generate the antidote on the afflictions, and you're attaining the state of an arhat is contingent upon the moment you generate the path of liberation. The moment you attain the path of liberation, because in the face of the antidote it's an uninterrupted path. So then, when one totally comes to abandon that, then you generate what is the liberated path of it. And so, when that liberated path is generated, is when is when you first attain the state of an arhat. So that liberated path has to be an equipoise which is engaged in single-pointed concentration on emptiness. And so to that equipoise, to that liberated path, or to that equipoise, this is all from the perspective of the Prasangika system, okay? To that equipoise of single-pointed concentration, emptiness, there is no appearance of true existence at all. All direct perception of true appearance is completely ceased in that state of that equipoise. So from a Prasangika standpoint, what you first attain is the liberation without remainder. And so in your post-meditational period, then you still have the appearance of true existence. So it's completely different, like the two happens differently. Again, no, okay. Stop here for today. Namda Shinla Jiva Sho Yedang Guru Rana Mandala Kamni Nyadaya Mi